Five, four, three, two, one. Hey guys, how are you? Welcome to the Jason J. Daniel Show, late night edition. Very, very busy day for me. Probably a really, really busy day for you guys. We are live all over the internet on X. We are live on. We're live on the old Rumble machine. We're live on YouTube, just getting situated while everybody is jumping on. What an incredible day in the investigation. Sorry, Butterfingers, in the hunt for the murderer of Charlie Kirk. I've podcasted more than in like 48 hours than I think I ever have. I think my record was 2 or 2 and 12 hours, 20 hours. But if you want to check out my archive, go ahead. They're all archived on X, and YouTube is a good way to see the archive of the shows. I was an independent libertarian until Charlie Kirk was murdered, and now I'm going to register as a Republican. I'm over it. I'm done. I'm done with the Democrat Party lies. I'm done with the anarchy that's taken over that Democrat Party. Honestly, the Democrat Party is dead. It's DOA. It died with Charlie Kirk. It died with that bullet. And speaking of that bullet, it was fired by a piece of garbage named Tyler Robinson. So Charlie Kirk was shot by Tyler Robinson, Democrat coward, anarchist poster boy. Now, interesting. This is already my day. My day was very busy. Already my night's interesting. One of my shows on YouTube is starting to get a little bit of heat and kind of going viral in the comments. One of the shows that I did recently. And in my title, I called him, before he was captured, I called Tyler Robinson a Democrat anarchist. Well, that's like being nice. That's being fucking nice about this piece of human excrement. Okay. And we all know he did it because he matches the video and all the pictures that have been posting. He's totally guilty. He told his daddy, boo-hoo, his daddy brought him in, with a minister or somebody. And this little sob story we have about, we should feel sorry for a 22-year-old man who decided to pick up a rifle and murder a father, a brilliant man, a political genius, a possible future Republican governor, and also, most importantly, a father of 2 babies. So we're supposed to accept the fact that this is some sort of guy who has any kind of redeeming qualities. Fuck that. Okay, so don't even. I'm in a good mood now. I was in a pretty terrible mood all day when I saw this soy boy who apparently everybody now on the internet, it's just you Democrats, man, you are so toasted, you're so roasted, you're so pathetic, because instead of dancing in the streets, we're just still kind of doing that, but you're all getting fired, so that's kind of tapering off, you assholes. But anyway, that's another story. Instead of worshiping the god of death and celebrating Charlie Kirk's terrible public execution, instead of doing that, now you guys, once your hero was captured, because he's a fucking coward and a really terrible assassin at that. Apparently he can't even put an escape plan together because he's a coward. And once he realized the gravity of the situation, because he's a coward, he did a coward thing and asked for mercy, coward. So anyway, no mercy, no sympathy for the devil. Okay, I'm sorry. But anyway, so then the trend begins all day on social. Well, his family, his daddy, what a terror, his family, the Republicans. Okay, great. Really? That's what we're going to do? We're gonna try to find somebody registered in the family as a Republican, or I haven't seen any evidence that are really Republicans, whatever. And so we're going to say he's a Republican. That's what I'm saying. Well, he's a right winger. Okay. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Sure, sure. Well, here you go. No, before I say this though, let me check my sound because I got to do a sound check. I want to make sure that you guys hear this loud and clear. I want to make sure that you anarchists. Now, obviously, it's a late night show, so you're probably going to see this in the morning while you're eating your Apple Jacks, okay, and drinking your hot cocoa. So put your cocoa down before I tell you this, okay? He might have been registered as a Republican, or mommy and daddy might have been registered as a Republican, but there's no greater way to register as a Democrat than picking up a rifle and viciously executing Charlie Kirk in front of the world in 4K on our phones. That makes you a Democrat. Welcome to the Democrat Party, you fucking anarchist coward. You're now in the Democrat Party. So, all you Democrats that want to say he was a Republican, when he pulled the trigger, that doesn't matter, whatever he was. Now he's one of yours. Sorry. No sympathy for the devil over here. No sympathy for the devil, man. So you guys can take your little soy boy like the other guy, the Luigi guy that everybody wanted to marry. Okay, well, you can marry this guy. You can marry this incel that obviously thinks life is a video game, obviously doesn't understand the concept of life. And let's be honest, when you're 22, you don't know anything. You're an idiot. You're a sleeper for the anarchists. There you go. So, had to get that out of my system. And I got a chance to read some of my comments on YouTube, just a little bit, which you never do that. But I read a few of my comments, and people were upset at me for one thing. We're talking double-digit comments. There are a lot of comments. I get a lot of comments on all my social, by the way, so it's hard for me to see them all. If you sent me a comment, you want to read it, my DMs are closed because they get crashed. You should tag me or keep tagging me or something. Or if you want me to follow you back, I will try, by the way, because I got a lot of new followers, 150, almost 200 in the last 48 hours, last couple of days. That's probably insignificant to some of you guys that have more followers, but I just want to say thank you, and I'll get to following some of you back when I can. But where I'm going with this is that these radicals, it's all the keyboard commandos now, these radicals, they don't want to accept the fact that they have to own this guy. Like, it would be so much easier if you just owned the truth. So I had a couple of comments. I didn't read them all, but I responded to a few of them in show 188, I think. And they were saying that because in my title I called him a Democrat anarchist, I was misleading the people. Okay. Well, what is he? What is he? What is he? What is he? Did you tell me? You tell me. Look, I'm open. There's no greater way to become a member of the Democrat Party than to pick up a gun and kill one of the most prominent conservative voices in the in our modern history. I mean, come on, man. Misleading the public by telling them, but this is your problem, Democrats. And this is why I'll never, ever be close to being in the Democrat Party. This is why I'm not a libertarian anymore, because all of those accounts have disappointed me too. And I've been in the middle of the road too long because, look, I have ideas that match both sides. And in fact, Charlie Kirk has ideas that were probably not aligned with my ideas, but we're both conservatives, and most of what he has said, from what I've seen, I think is very reasonable. It is conservative, conservatism from the 80s and 90s 101. He was bringing a retro conservatism back. So sure, a lot of those ideas do not match with now, because now we're a bunch of uncorrigible, uneducated, social media driven morons. Most of the older ones, really, not so much the younger ones, because they're more open-minded. But I am not misleading the public by putting his blood on your hands, because it's on your hands. It's on your hands. I'm sorry. There's two kinds of Democrats. There are weak Democrats that you have no power and no one listens to because you're normal. You see, you're reasonable and you're normal. So you're either going to go far left because you're pressured by everybody else because you're weak minded, or you're strong willed and you're holding on to old school Democrat principles, which is admirable. But those principles are actually moderate views and you don't fit in your party anymore because your party has left you, but you're not smart enough to register with a party that's not going to pick up a gun and shoot your leaders. Now, yes, there have been radicals in the past that have been right wing or labeled right wing or had a list of Democrats that they were after and did violence on Democrats. We have owned that. That, when I say we, the people, all of us have owned that and accepted it. But there's never been a situation like this. It's unprecedented. Never been a situation where it's very clear that an Antifa came up too. And Antifa, there's connections to Antifa, gay rights movement, trans movement in his notes. I mean, according to what the FBI said and the government has said, what they've told us now is there's a all the things that Charlie Kirk, I apologize, Charlie Kirk, sorry, let me get some water. All of the things that Charlie, hold on. I drank the big waters, sorry. It's a little annoying, I get it. All of the things that Charlie Kirk stood against, this young moron stood for. Okay? So if you are Antifa, if you are an anarchist, if you believe violence is your political, I guess, activity, if you believe in murder for political gain, if you want to take somebody off the board that is a powerful conservative, that makes you an anarchist. Okay? That makes you an evil person, an evildoer, as Charlie Kirk's wife called them tonight. We'll talk about them in a second. You're an evildoer. There's no feeling sympathy for you, your mommy, your daddy, your sisters. You have disgraced your entire family line, and I believe that they should carry that disgrace for a very long time. I'm sorry. It's over. It is time to be honest about what's been happening in our country. It's murder after murder perpetrated by evildoers that the Democrat Party have empowered. I mean, it's wave after wave of Democrats standing up for gang members, rapists, killers, and murderers. It's unbelievable. And when a young, innocent person, and I'm not talking about Charlie Kirk in the sense that he was an innocent man, but I'm talking about young people that were being the wave of crime by criminally legal aliens that should have never been here. When that starts happening, you guys, the Democrat Party, you say fucking squat diddly nothing. You deny it. Your leaders, when I say you, I'm talking about your leaders, the assholes you have voted into office. So you let your leaders say preposterous shit, all because everyone hates Trump. And so that gives you a license to then hate everybody that voted for him. Well, guess what? You're also hating the people that didn't vote for him, because there are millions of people that didn't vote for Trump that actually were afraid to because of you guys. Can you now can you see what your ideals and your rhetoric have wrought on our country? Can you take a step back and actually just be real and take a breath and go, yeah, maybe our leaders have some kind of responsibility in all of the violence. I'm not even just talking about Charlie Kirk, all of the violence. But no, the day he was killed, Kirk, sure, half of them came out and said it's reprehensible, which respectable. But what have we seen today? They're back on the horse. Trump's the guy in New York City who's running for mayor, the communist, the socialist, he does a post today. Trump's a fascist. He's authoritarian. Okay. So we tone the rhetoric down for 13 hours, which is what you guys do. And so here's what I know what you're thinking. This is what you guys always do. And when I say you guys, I'm not part of you. I'm registering as a Republican. One of the reasons is to make it clear that I'll never be part of the Democrat Party and I'll never be confused with you guys. I kind of look like a Democrat, I suppose. I got a lot of Democrat friends, but I'm not even close to being part of this platform. This platform is vicious. You're ugly, you're nasty, you're hateful, you're jealous, and you can't just get the job done. And all you've been doing is obstructing everything that is of conservative value. Even when Trump wasn't in office, you guys were trying to fight him and put him in jail. Why? Because he represented all of us that don't represent you. And that's what the Democrat Party does, is they used to say, if you're different, you're one of us. The outcasts used to be Democrats, right? The people that didn't fit into society used to be Democrats. Well, now it's everybody else is an outcast to you, and if they don't fit your Democrat anarchist mold, you're not part of the party. You see, it seems to be like part of the game to be cool with calling a conservative a Nazi or a fascist. That just seems like part of the rules of the game of being a registered Democrat. And so a lot of you weak-minded Democrats have fallen in that trap because you're afraid to say no. Well, I encourage you to say no to the nonsense. It's fucking nonsense. Let's just be honest. It's nonsense. Donald Trump has never been a Nazi. He's never been a racist. He's never been these things. I watched 11 seasons of The Apprentice. I followed his career for years. I read every one of his books before he ran for president. I never saw any of the stuff that you guys are putting on him. And we all know it's a lie. It's a political lie. And then it's like now, because the racism thing didn't stick on him because that's bullshit. Then it was he's a Nazi, which was preposterous. Then Elon's a Nazi and everybody's a Nazi and everybody's a Nazi, which is so disgraceful that you guys want to use that in your media and all of your leaders. It's disgraceful. So I think, look, the Republican Party went through a baptism of fire, and that was called Donald Trump. The Republican Party was, yes, very greedy and was very involved in money over people and in the 2000s, early 2000s. And the Republican Party, George W. Bush fucked a lot of shit up. And they were, the party of war, right? Right? Sorry, I'm moving my hands with it. They were the party of war. They were the party of, we don't care about you. We're going to let the stock market or the housing market become a bubble. We're going to crash the economy. But all of our rich friends got over. We're going to build a lot of weapons. We're going to blah, blah, blah. Dick Cheney, Darth Vader. We're the party of a war that made no sense. Fine. But there was a reckoning. And so you guys elect Obama, right on. I didn't vote for Obama. I'll be honest. I wasn't feeling it. Because if you recall at the time, there was a lot of questions about his associations with terrorists, domestic terrorists, Bill Ayers. And then he had a pastor there was videotape of him saying, God damn America, and America deserved 9/11. Really radical shit. And because John McCain didn't make a thing of it, and John McCain didn't hold him accountable in the campaign, and McCain was, I will be respectful to him, God rest his soul, but McCain just chose not to fight fire with fire. He chose not to engage. Obama walked right in. Now maybe that wouldn't have made a difference. Maybe it was really important for there to be a change in the nation, and oh boy, did it happen. So the change happens. We get 2 terms of Obama, and then Trump comes along, and the Republican Party falls apart, goes nuts. Obama and the Democrats at the time were not anarchists. It was an agenda that the Democrat Party won on. They won on their platform. But then Obama got into office, in his last 4 years, he killed more people with drones and ramped up the war, lied about that, couldn't control the economy, blah, blah, blah. Obama really didn't do much for the country. Maybe caught bin Laden, who knows? I mean, that was really weird. They dumped him in the ocean and then told us the next morning. I don't. That's a whole nother conspiracy theory. But look, I really can't think of anything. Obamacare came in, which a lot of people have been complaining about for years, saying it has really ruined healthcare. I'll leave that up to you. I'm just saying, I don't. It wasn't about the anarchy. It wasn't about calling people Nazis, and the party of Obama. Conservatives hated it, but they had to live with it because they could not stay in power, because they could not accept the fact that they were making all sorts of mistakes, and they had become a party that the people in the United States did not feel served their interests. Well, welcome to where you're at, Democrats. The Republican Party was DOA, and Trump came in and turned it into his party. Here we are. 10 years later, 11 years later, here we are. So you're now in that spot. But unfortunately, you guys have chosen violence. You've chosen violence, and we've seen it. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I saw Trump's a Nazi, Trump's a racist, Trump's a danger, Joe Biden, J6, those are dangerous. Everybody needs to go to prison. Biden throws 1,500 innocent Americans in prison. The DOJ, it's crazy, acting like a third world Gestapo, crazy, weaponizing the Justice Department, crazy, using the IRS to go after political enemies, crazy. I could go on and on. So everything you guys did with your puppet Joe Biden was pretty much amped up on ruining and destroying people's lives. And you did that to a lot of people that supported Trump. So you don't think there was going to be a vengeance coming back on you? You didn't think that. So at the ballot box, right? So you knew the polls were bad. You guys knew that Dark Brandon was falling apart. So what you did was you started to do threats and a rhetoric. And you set up the Dark Brandon thing, right? And the whole Darth Vader thing. And he does a speech where MAGA's the devil and Trump's a threat to. Come on, man. When you tell people when you're telling simple-minded people and you're scaring them and telling them that the guy who could be the next president and who was the last president is a threat to your life and your democracy, your freedom. I mean, how do you think people are going to act? Like, come on, man. Like, it's preposterous to me. It's like not even a conversation. Like, it's easy math. It's just a joke. It's a joke that you don't own it. It's a joke you don't own it. So I was watching a clip of Sink, is that his name, who runs the Young Turks, and he was on Piers Morgan, is that his name? And Dave Rubin. I don't really keep track of all these people, but I'm learning their names now. Dave Rubin was on, and I didn't know Dave Rubin was gay. And Charlie Kirk, they're talking about Charlie Kirk, of course. And Charlie Kirk had there's videos of him saying he didn't agree with the gay lifestyle, but he accepted gays and these kind of things, right? Okay. So he was, you could call him anti-gay. I'm not, so I don't agree with that at all. But you could call Charlie Kirk whatever, but there you go. Okay, so I'm setting the table. So they're having a debate, and Sink is talking, and then Dave Rubin comes on and says, let's talk about your rhetoric, Sink. And he goes back through 10 years of posts or something like that in recent years and reads off all this stuff, where posts from the Young Turks where their headlines were either Trump was a Nazi or Charlie Kirk was a Nazi or Trump was a fascist and all these things. Wild shit. Like, and then they played a soundbite of him saying it. And then Sink's like completely mortified because he's part of the problem. And instead of saying, you know what, I was completely inappropriate and wrong, he gets all upset and doesn't want, let's move on. You're taking it out of context. Come on, man. How do you take, I think you're a Nazi out of context? So where am I going with this rant? Here's where I'm going. I'm done. I'm personally done with the lies. Like, we see through the lies. It's over. So I'm going to confront these lies with the truth, which is you're a liar. You're an anarchist. If you want to call a conservative a fascist, well, I'm just going to say, well, look, Antifa, masks, shutting down the country, Gavin Newsom doing all these fascist things. I think that's kind of fascist. I mean, fine, but it's more than that. It's anarchy. There's anarchy has been unleashed on our society. So then what happens is the Biden administration puts all these radical judges, man, in place, knowing that if they lose, they can still change things. Plus, the Supreme Court had gone pretty much conservative because it's just the luck of the draw. You can't control that. And I'm assuming you can't. And so they were upset about that. They knew the Supreme Court was going to be a problem for them or you guys. So you go ahead and stack the lower courts all the way to everything you could do to stack DAs in courts. And then you use the George Floyd movement to create all sorts of opportunities to let people out on the streets that are vicious in the name of whatever you want to call it. Doesn't make sense to me. Kamala Harris was doing her thing in California by raising money for people that were arrested for causing chaos. And so then she becomes vice president, and then all they do is foster chaos. And then when it became time for Trump to run again, he's the devil. Look, you know this. You know this. But if you're watching this and you're a Democrat, I'm trying to help you understand where your party went. Your party is DOA. Your party is a trash party. Your party is a joke. And it was that before your little baby Tyler. You got to own your little baby. Your little baby Tyler, your little murderer baby, you got to own that guy. That's on you. And yes, I do accept the fact that there have been people that have been clearly on the right that have done violence against people that are on the left. I'm not taking anything away from that. But this was different. Now, all of this violence is terrible. Murders are terrible, clearly. But I'll tell you why this was different. When a lot of people are bringing up Minnesota. Okay, so the Minnesota guy who was, first of all, he was friends with Tim Walz, okay? And he had connections. Tim Walz had appointed him into something, but he did have a hit list, okay, of people that were on the left. So to me, I'm not really sure what he is, but it doesn't matter because once you kill a person, it doesn't matter what part. That's the difference, guys. Is murder does not make you, it does not solidify the party you're in. It makes you a murderer, okay? It makes you a vicious killer, and that's really the issue. But one of the differences with this vicious murder is it was a public execution for the world to see, which was a message, like the mafia, like JFK. It was a message. Martin Luther King's murder in public, a message. But Martin Luther King's was just an opportunity kill. As much, it wasn't. I'm sure that asshole would have done it in front of people if he could. I mean, there was a small group of people. He was outside of a hotel room, I believe. Yeah, on a balcony. But it wasn't 3,000 people and all sorts of fun. Like, it wasn't the spectacle that this baby Tyler knew it was going to be, this baby demon. He knew it was going to be a spectacle. He was an internet kid. He knew what he was doing. He wanted to be famous. But the difference is, okay, between that and the Minnesota thing, which was terrible and gruesome, one, the difference is it was a message. And two, it was one of the most powerful conservative voices in modern times. It was a game changer. Not that the other killings with that guy are not important. You know that's important, but this was very different. It's very high profile. Very high profile. It was it shattered the world. I could just keep going. But there were just things I wanted, I mean, why? And another question I have is why? So with all the celebration, I mean, I am very, very upset, like a lot of people are. I'm upset because I saw this coming, and now here we are. Because every time, and I guess I didn't finish one of my thoughts earlier, every time I heard Trump's the devil, it's a Nazi rally in New York, every time I saw that crazy rhetoric, I cringed because I knew somebody's getting programmed. They're programming somebody. Somebody's going to get hurt, man. And somebody did. Now, I know there's probably a lot of violence that's occurred on both sides in small towns or something that doesn't get press, and I can appreciate that. But we knew this was coming because we've been talking about the rhetoric. We knew this was coming. After the Minnesota thing, Tim Walz gets up, let's tamp the rhetoric down, but then they get back on the horse 3 days later and call Trump a Nazi, and then they turn the ICE thing. Trump's, it's a dog whistle, it's an occupation. Come on, man. Barbara Lee, who knows better, who is an old timer from Congress, goes out and says publicly, does press conferences, Trump is a racist because he's trying to send in the National Guard because of ICE. Karen Bass, it's an occupation. People are being disappeared. All this stuff that's not true, man. It's not true. They're taking the truth. Yes, they're grabbing people and taking them off the streets because they're illegal. It's going on with Obama. Obama and Clinton did it. Everybody did it. Biden did it. It's what happens. It's just now it's completely politicized. And so you've got people worked up and upset. We knew violence was happening, right? People getting hit by cars. You had that mini violence. And we're all sitting around going, this is only going to get worse because Antifa comes out, ICE gets attacked, all these things. And then, Gavin Newsom in California, they want to pass a law that ICE gets unmasked. And it's politicized. Normal stuff gets politicized by you guys. And then that one guy, Padilla, is that his name? Am I saying it right? Forgive me if I'm saying it wrong. That crashed the press conference was Kristi Noem, made a thing about it, fighting, he got taken down, crying. Then he starts crying. He wasn't even elected. He's trying to now use it so he can run for higher office. Like, come on, man. All of this is just a theater so you guys can gain power. But there are crazy people out there like Baby Tyler. Baby Demon Tyler. There are demonic people out there, people filled with murder. And so my question is, why do the Democrats, the normal ones, allow the other anarchy Democrats to worship the God of death and really publicize it on the internet? Why aren't you guys saying that's wrong? Like, it's wrong. Like, the celebrations are so demonic. And I've talked about it earlier. The celebrations are so crazy that people are now. If this is true, it could be more internet hype because everything's hype, I suppose, except the things we really see. But people are now saying they're getting fired, right? I mean, I don't even know if that's true or people are trying to get people doxxed and fired. But my thing is like, okay, I don't know about that, but I'm seeing the vicious demonic celebrations, and my question is, why are they not condemning that? We all see it. So, and podcasters are talking about it, big time podcasters. We all see it. So why are the liberal leaders not condemning that? Look, it's the death cult. I've been talking about it for months. People are worshiping death. They're worshiping chaos. There are people that worship the God of death. A lot of them are young females, which is weird to me. A lot of what I've seen are young females. Interesting to me that they're so mad. I'm seeing there's a couple of people I know and follow. I didn't realize that they worship the God of death. And it's like, look, it's nothing personal, but I worship life. You worship death. We're kind of on two different fucking sides here. Charlie Kirk was a Christian, and you guys are celebrating the death of a Christian, a very devout Christian. I mean, the guy was bringing people to Jesus, very evangelical Christian. You guys are celebrating his vicious murder. What does that make you? Well, that kind of makes you a devil. I'm sorry. It's easy math. I don't know. It's like, it's so obvious to me. It's kind of comical that you guys have fooled yourself. You're really good at fooling yourselves that this is not going to cause you to lose the midterms, or that it's already cost you the White House next time. It's not happening, guys. You're done. You tell me who's going to see. And here's the problem. All of your guys and gals that could have run, AOC, Gavin Screwsome, who's a joke. All of those motherfuckers have been, let's punch Donald Trump in the mouth. Let's fight him. Let's hurt him. I'm sick of Gavin Newsom, Mr. Soy, King Soy Boy himself, who's never worked a job. Never worked a job. Born into old money, Nancy Pelosi's godson, handed the keys to San Francisco, given his first job, which was politics. Never worked a job in his life. Been a cokehead, stealing people's wives, a real scoundrel. Okay? This guy comes out and starts doing this. Trump's a fascist. He starts ramping that shit up the last couple of weeks. I'm sure Mr. Demon Tyler, Mr. Your new totem, your new leader, your 22-year-old guy with an old school rifle, I'm sure he read Gavin's shit. He was pretty plugged in. You got to be pretty plugged in to know who to kill and when to kill them in order to change the world. And that's where I'm going. See, the reason why this does not equate to any other political violence we've seen in years other than the Trump attempts, assassinations, is because this one is changed everything. There have been people who have been, I've been watching some podcasts. Well, it changed everything because we're done. Because this is a young guy. Well, let me tell you why it changed everything. I'll continue to tell you. And you know, I shouldn't have to educate you. You know why it's a game changer, and you're never coming back for this. It's going to be 10 years before you guys win a real legitimate election. You're not coming back for this. Because the first questions going to be asked is, how do you feel about murder? How do you feel about Charlie Kirk's murder? And then these guys are going to get up on a debate stage and say how they feel. And it's either going to be, we're cool with murder, or it's going to be blah, 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 or it's going to be a lie, or the truth is they're not cool with murder and they're honest. They're going to lose all of their support because the Democrat Party only gives money if there's chaos. So it's a game changer for you guys because you got to make a choice, and your leaders are failing. The last Alt-A today, like Bernie Sanders did something really amazing. He had a really amazing statement last night. So I'm like, I feel hope. This morning, everybody else are being dicks. I don't feel any hope anymore for you guys. So I'm going to the party of hope. I got to tell you. So let me tell you why this is a game changer. You killed a very devout man, a very young man, a brilliant guy. Like I didn't know he's 31 until you murdered him. Thanks. So he's 31. Look, I wasn't a big fan of his, but I was aware of him, and I wasn't a supporter, never gave money because I'm not his demographic. But I am now. He's a brilliant guy. Multi-million-dollar company, $100 million company, travels the world, has huge social media power, helps elect a president, friends with the president, friends with the vice president, bros with the vice president. The guy is a stud. He's a great guy. Coaches men and boys to be masculine, strong men, does conferences about how to be a good husband, how to raise a family. He's a solid cat, man. A guy you'd want to have a drink with. A guy he didn't drink, but a guy you'd want to hang out with, man. Going to church. He's bringing people to Jesus. He's talking about Jesus. Jesus changed. And I got to tell you this, man. Watching clips of him talking about Jesus it's starting to affect me. I'll be honest. I'm paying attention. He has an incredible archive of amazing things that outweigh anything you might disagree with because you don't like his social ideas. Grow the fuck up. I know I'm talking Jesus and saying fuck, but whatever. Grow the fuck up, man. You know what this is? It's a whole generation of babies. The Democrat Party got a bunch of babies that can't grow up. You guys can't grow up. You know what growing up is? Going, hey, our party's out of control. That's growing up. You know what happened? Do you remember 9/11? No, you don't, because you wouldn't be doing this if you did. After 9/11, everything changed, man. Everybody was friends. Everybody was praying. Congress, keep this in mind. The day after 9/11, and why I'm bringing up 9/11, I'm going somewhere with this. And I'm still on the game changer thing. I'm on this. Okay. The Democrats and Republicans and Congress went out on the steps of the Capitol and prayed and ask for God to help them? All of them, man. Now we got the squad. We got Omar, who married her brother, which is super repulsive. She's a liar. They're cheating on stocks. We've got Pelosi, who's brought in all of her cronies. You've got AOC, who's just an idiot. Like, I'm just, honestly, I can't listen to her. My brain hurts because she's so dumb. She doesn't even understand. She's been there for years, still doesn't understand what's going on with politics because she doesn't pay attention. She just does whatever she does because she's getting media attention. She's on Instagram acting like a fool. She's got a bunch of fools that follow her. You guys have a bunch of young fools. And could you imagine everybody coming out and saying, hey, let's pray because we're a Christian nation? Let's be honest. I know that's a fallacy. We weren't born on Christian principles, but we have become a Christian nation. Let's be real. So maybe we can all do a prayer. Hell, you can do a Christian prayer and do a Muslim prayer. Whatever, go out there, just fucking pray. You know what they did instead? Charlie Kirk gets massacred, and this is what they do. Hey, let's have a moment of silence. Hey, let's all say a prayer, and then a collective scream. No, from the Democrat losers. Losers, man. So you got the squad, you got all these losers getting up and crying and shouting and fighting the president and getting nothing done. You're losers. So I'm done. I was already turned off by that shit, but you're a bunch of immature babies. So immature babies get elected into Congress, and then you guys that aren't mature enough to say no, follow them because you have a D on your voter registration. Well, you're a bunch of big idiots. Sorry. So get mad if you want, but things have changed. I'm not being nice anymore because the Democrat Party has become the party of murder, and I know that upsets people. Elon tweeted that, and people got upset. Well, come on, man. Who killed Charlie Kirk? Who killed him? Was it a conservative? That guy's not a conservative. Come on, man. You guys took out who tried to kill Trump. Okay, let's talk about crooks who we'll never hear about again because they cremated him and erased him. Tried to kill the president. Was he a conservative? Of course he was, right? To you guys, conservatives climb ladders all the time and assassinate other conservatives. Come on, man. Jesus Christ, man. I mean, I was annoyed. Now it's just funny. The more I talk about it, not obviously what happened to Charlie, but the more I think about the situation you guys are in, the more funny it is to me, the more hilarious it is how much you guys have fooled yourselves into being okay with this. So back to what I was saying. Why is this a game changer? Because you guys are really acting super godless, which is a game changer for a country that has a large population of people that are spiritual. I'm not even saying Christian, just spiritual. So you guys are acting super godless by being cool with the celebration of murder. So now we have become, look, and I'm not some Bible thumper, but I know spiritual shit when I see it. And we are in a time where we have had young people embrace a spirit of death, and they love this shit. So so a young person kills another young person. 31's very young. Come on, kills another young person, and then you have this wave of young people who have been indoctrinated that words are worth killing someone over, gyrating in their cars and in their broke down mobile homes, and looking like a bunch of just clowns. Worshiping the god of death, so excited that Charlie Kirk was assassinated. There was a lady who actually had a song. She started playing a song, or she wrote a song and wrote a song about shooting Charlie Kirk dead. Like, whoa. People bragging that they're witches and they were cursing Charlie. Wild stuff. You guys are the party of wickedness now. Sorry. I mean, I haven't seen conservative witches going out. I haven't seen conservative witches doing songs about Charlie Kirk dying. Look, I'm not judging witches or judging your religion. I'm just saying, I don't think that, look, there are probably good witches out there. I don't know. I don't keep track of that. There are probably people that are like good witches going, hey, that's not what I do. I know this is getting weird, but I'm just being honest. I mean, this is what I'm seeing on the internet. I'm sure there are people that are into witchcraft or, into those things that, or the I don't know, the good ones or whatever that wouldn't necessarily do that. But the people that are doing that are getting the attention because they put it on the internet. I don't know if that sounds kind of weird. The way I came out of my mouth, it's weird. I think it's just bizarre. Like, this is such a game-changing moment. Plus, what happened, again, so I'll go back to why it's a game changer. Brilliant young guy. He was just brilliant. Like, he was a political genius at 31 to do what he did. Political genius. The guy was going to run for governor next year is what the word on the street is. He was going to run. There he had the potential to run for president in the future. You go to governor, you go to president. Okay. So this guy, baby Tyler, your little baby demon, because I'm talking to Democrats here, you guys are celebrating a super terrible blow to the conservative movement. This is a setback, 100%. This is an L for both sides. It's an L for conservatives because we didn't guard him. We didn't put him behind bulletproof glass like we did Trump. Truth is, at this point, so it's a game changer like 9/11 was. You're going to see everybody that's prominent that's going out to these places now, bulletproof glass. No one on the roof. Just like 9/11 changed the way we flew, this is going to change the way podcasters and the way public people do their thing. You think they're not accessible now? Well, it's now going to be even worse. I'm seeing podcasters get up saying, I'm scared. Theo Vaughn, certain guys, we're scared. Yeah, because they do public appearances and they have millions of people. And see, some of them do jokes. They think they're funny. Bill Maher. There's a lot of people that are comedians doing this. Comedians are people that aren't violent, but a lot of these comedians have huge followings and they get into politics. Or they just go somewhere with somebody that's political and somebody like baby Tyler, Demon Tyler can take it the wrong way. So they're all freaking out. But why are they really freaking out? I saw Theo Vaughn and a couple other folks go, they're freaking out, and then they're even saying they didn't know Charlie Kirk. I didn't know him either. And I was very affected. And they're all saying, I don't know why I'm affected, why I'm so depressed. Why is this different? I'll tell you why it's different. Because this was the 9/11 for free speech, which is ironic that he was killed on 9/10. Ironic. So what 9/11 did to the country, politically, financially, with terror, killed all those innocent people just going to work. This murder of Charlie Kirk was the 9/11 of free speech because Charlie Kirk was a nonviolent guy who was killed because he opened his mouth and dared to say what he felt about the world, Jesus, politics, and he dared to say no to the radical agenda that he believed was wrong. And he was murdered for it. Viciously murdered. So baby demon Tyler created a 9/11 for free speech because the Constitution was attacked. And I'm a very big free speech guy. That's why I took it really hard, because the first thing I thought was, I knew it was coming, because they've been trying to shut up podcasters. They've been trying to shut up people with a voice, especially conservatives, for years, for months. They've been trying to shut everybody up. And what won the election for Trump? Podcasters and guys like Charlie Kirk, who went out to the young people. It is very clear. Trump's even said, Charlie helped me win the election. Remember Joe Rogan, Theo Vaughn? Trump started doing the podcast that Biden couldn't do. Trump wins because they knew that if they got their voice out there, people would know and hear a better alternative. So this was an attack on free speech, an attack on speaking out. And that's why these podcasters that are so vocal and they're out doing their thing and they're going to public events, that's why they took it so hard, because Charlie Kirk is us. Us, like me, a random guy at 11 o'clock at night. Is it 11 o'clock? 11 at night in California. Random guy just talking to you in a room by myself because I believe in free speech and I believe that I have something to say. And if people watch it, cool. If people don't watch it, cool. But I still have to say what I need to say. And I've had thousands of views over the last couple of days. So people clearly are watching what I'm saying. And that's insignificant compared to some of these other people. But the truth is now people are feeling the effects of an attack on free speech. But I'm going to wrap this by saying, sure, baby demon Tyler, gave us an L. I mean, it's there's no W in this when you lose a guy like that. And I say us because now I'm going to be a Republican, so I'm part of the team. I'm jumping in. But you guys took an L too, Democrats. Every one of you took an L because you're not going to be able to shake this shit. You got to own baby demon Tyler. He's yours. He's not ours. He's yours. You can call him a Republican all you want. You can say his mommy and daddy Republicans all you want. But when you pick up a rifle and you get on a roof and you kill one of the most prominent conservative voices in the last 20 years, that makes you an anarchist and that fits you into the Democrat Party. So you can change his voter registration if that makes you happy. But you lunatics said, he's a Republican. That's all you care about. He's a Republican. His mommy's a Republican. Really? That's all you care about. We're putting pictures of him eating at Denny's, eating at Chevy's. He's having a taco. He's playing video games. Look, he's normal. No, he's not. He's a demon. His DNA was wired for murder. And I don't believe in the indoctrination to that point. I think, yes, he's a sleeper. Sure, he was indoctrinated by you lunatics. Fine. But he was predisposed to murder. Every murderer starts out predisposed as a child to murder. It's been studied, especially serial killers. Unless it's a murder that's a crime of passion, but you're still disposed to murder. When things happen bad in my life, I've been cheated on. A lot of people get upset and they get violent when something happens wrong in a romance. I've been cheated on. I've caught somebody cheating on me. It happens. I've had a divorce that was very terrible. Everyone's fine now. Chill out. But I mean, I've had financial disasters. I've had everything. But not once did I decide I'm going to murder somebody. It never occurred to me. It never occurred to me. So I'm not predisposed to murder. Sure, it's out there in the world. Sure, it's an idea people have, but I'm never having to talk myself out of going and killing somebody. So come on, man. So you guys have to own the fact that this guy is a murderer. Okay, he was predisposed to killing. He's not a good person. He never was. 22. You have that kind of motivation at age 22. Most 22-year-olds can't get out of bed. If you're that motivated at 22 to go out and murder somebody that famous, you know exactly what you're doing, and you have to plan it out, and you have to do all these things. You don't just wake up and decide to do it. He knew exactly what he was doing. He planned the route. He had an escape. He had an escape plan. There was messages. You don't just do that unless you're predisposed to murder. The Columbine boys were the same way. A lot of people still can't figure out why they did it. I'll tell you why. Sometimes they're just the why. Sometimes a murderer is a murderer. That's why we have to keep our head on a swivel. But a lot of it is, look, we knew the rhetoric was going to tune somebody up. So there's no direct line to this guy. He didn't say Nancy Pelosi said this, Gavin Newsom said punch in the mouth, so I got a gun. We might find some stuff later on. But even if he wrote a manifesto, which they always do, you guys still don't fucking believe it. And then anybody in the police department or law enforcement that's a liberal that's trying to protect the Democrat Party tries to suppress it. It's unbelievable. The deep state's a whole nother conversation. Hopefully I don't sound like a conspiracy theorist tonight, but I kind of feel like one. But I'm going to leave you with this. It's about an hour. We've been talking. Hopefully this makes sense Hopefully this makes sense to you. I'll leave you with this. So now, instead of chastising these lunatics that are worshiping the god of death over Charlie Kirk's murder on TikTok, it's just disgusting. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. I mean, even when George W. Bush had Saddam Hussein killed in a kangaroo court and he was executed and hung, we didn't celebrate. That was disgusting. When Osama bin Laden was murdered, I'm sorry, was killed by Obama. That was a misspeak because I've been saying that word a lot. I'm not trying to be subliminal. When Osama bin Laden was killed for the murder of 3,000 people, that's where I was going with that sentence. For the murder of 3,000 people, and then I found out he was dead. I didn't celebrate in the streets. Most people didn't. People were happy that we had closed that chapter and there was vindication, but there wasn't people on social media doing orgasmic gyration saying we were doing spells against Osama bin Laden, which I'm sure people were. But I mean, if there's anybody, here's where my point is. If there's anybody that deserved that, it'd be somebody like him. But instead, you guys get out, your people, your party gets out, and they dance on TikTok like they're Al Qaeda, like they're Hamas. I mean, I'm watching these guys do what they do in other countries when leaders are murdered. They celebrate in the streets. And that's what I'm seeing on TikTok because all of these lunatics have been influenced by foreign adversaries. It's a whole other story. But you have to own the fact that baby Tyler is your problem. I don't care what he was. He could have been registered as a beautician. He could have been a cosmetologist. That doesn't make all hairdressers murderers. No, it makes one guy a murderer. He could have been a car mechanic. Oh, car mechanics are murderers. No, he's one guy, but he's your guy. And because he killed one of the most prominent conservative voices in modern history, that makes him your guy. Easy math. I won't say it again. It's bullshit to say that he's a conservative. Come on. He's a Republican. Okay. Jesus Christ. So now let's talk about the family. So Trump goes out this morning and tells a story that was kind of hard to understand because that's how Trump tells his stories. He's doing the weave, right? And he apparently somebody caught wind of it, called the FBI, that it was him. They saw the photo. They're like, that's him. Okay, great. Clearly it's him because he's a soy boy and he looked like he had these like distinct soy boy characteristics. He's looking right at the camera. Clearly it's a bad plan to escape. So that's him. And then somebody tells his mommy and daddy. He goes over for some reason. They call a minister or something. The daddy's a sheriff. Look, I know sheriff's deputies. I don't mean shit. Doesn't mean they're conservatives. Doesn't mean they're nice either. I know one particular one in private who said stuff to me, and I was like, you got a badge? Holy shit. Yeah. So let's not say this guy's a Republican just because he has a badge. That's not how it works. Or he's a nice guy. Not how it works. So anyway, then now there's this narrative. Oh, what a tough day for the mommy and daddy. They had a tournament. So they call the feds and go, come get this piece of shit. Come get him. Okay, so he's arrested. I have no sympathy for them. No sympathy for the family. Do you have sympathy for the family of crooks that tried to kill Trump? You got sympathy for the family of the guy who killed Martin Luther King, JFK Jr., RFK, and then JFK. I mean, come on, man. You gonna have sympathy for the devil? Is that what we're doing? You guys, your sympathy is just preposterous. The sympathy you should have is for innocents, not for murderers. Sorry. And his family, look, they have to be responsible. This may be wild, but it's time to get ruthless and be honest. I'm just going, you know what? I'm going to be ruthless. I'm going to be honest because we have been too nice. We've been too nice, and now Charlie Kirk's dead. I'm a conservative. Even though I was registered as an independent, I've been a conservative, traditional conservative. I'm socially liberal, but I'm a conservative. So that's why I was an independent libertarian, because I'm very liberal with a lot of things. I believe a lot of our regulations and laws there's too much regulation. Okay? So I have a problem with that. I think we have too many laws. Before this, I thought that. I'm changing my tune a little bit. I'm changing my tune on certain things. But I've always been a tough on crime guy, but I've been open-minded that people have bad lives and all these things, get stuck in bad situations. I've always been open-minded. But we're tougher. We decided to be tougher on cybercrime, tougher on crypto crime than we were tougher on a guy who knifes a poor girl in the throat and she bleeds out. We're tougher on, water. We're tougher on that, on cryptos, than we're tougher on real monsters in the streets. We're just tougher on that for some you guys. Our laws now are the way we enforce it. So I have no sympathy for this family. I don't. I think this family needs to, first of all, be sued because they got to know something, or they got to be responsible. If he was living under there, if he wasn't, whatever, they got to be responsible. Look, I'm being ruthless. I think they need to go through their life, go through everything, see what they knew. Grandma even came out of me. They called grandma. She picked up the phone, told the media, I don't believe it's him. He's a nice boy. Okay, great. Sympathy, grandma? What? Come on, grandma. Sympathy. You saw the videos. So I have no sympathy for the family. So you can have sympathy for the family. Doesn't bring back Charlie Kirk, but I'll tell you who you should have sympathy for. ERIKA Kirk and the family. Today she did a statement that was super powerful. Tonight she did. And what was crazy about that statement is that I thought she was going to get halfway through because she was saying a lot of things about the Lord, and Charlie was a devout Christian. Very heavy handed on that stuff in the speech. Like right out there saying Jesus is his savior. He's with in God with he's in heaven with the Lord, all these things, which right on. I believe that. But when she got to the people that killed him, she called them evildoers and said, you have no idea what you've unleashed. She didn't say anything about let's pray for them. She didn't say let's have sympathy for the devil. She called them evildoers and said, essentially, you're going to pay for this. That's pretty awesome. That's a wife. That's dope. Because if I was married and something bad happened to me by evildoers, the last thing I want is my wife saying, we're going to forgive him and pray for him. That may be you, but that's not me. And that's not the way we can be now. We can't do that. It's full-on apocalypse shit now. It's like, look, eye for an eye with these fuckers. Now, I don't mean violence. I mean at the ballot box. And I mean it being ruthless to hold these people accountable for their evil deeds. And going out online and saying that conservatives are Nazis, conservatives are fascists, that's evil. It's not true. It's not right. There's never been a conservative in the last, since Bush, or even his daddy and Reagan, since Carter, we're talking 50 years, where conservatives come in and put people in camps and done all this shit that you're saying that everybody's going to do the conservative. It hasn't happened. It's not true. They're not dictators. You guys are full of shit. And in fact, the last guy that did concentration camps was the president at the time of the war. You can Google if that was a Republican or a Democrat. Figure it out. You're probably too young to know. But you can take a look at that. The country has done crazy bad shit. Our government does bad shit all the time. And I'm not supporting our government. But what I'm saying is what you're saying is not true, and it's damaging to people. It's hurting babies. It's hurting families. Look, you might be a radical that's like, Israel's the devil, Palestinians rule, Hamas is awesome. I'm not talking about that. You can get caught up in that shit all you want. You can get caught up in foreign countries and get your eye off America, whatever. You can be cool with Hamas that kills a bunch of people, innocent people at a concert, and then they have 50 hostages but don't feel like they had to give them back, and they can have they had babies as hostages. They kill the babies and parade them in the street, and they're like, fuck America, blah, blah, blah. And you guys are cool with that. Okay, cool. That's not normal, but whatever. But now when actually America's affected by your rhetoric, oh, we have to have sympathy for the guy who did it. No. And you guys are going to want to marry him. You're crazy. The Luigi thing, look, sympathy for Luigi. Same thing. Everybody wants to marry Luigi. He's a cold-blooded killer. for no good reason. These fuckers are killing very good human beings for no good reason. I don't know the CEO of the healthcare, but I gotta say, no one had any stories after he died that he was a bad guy. Okay, that stuff would have came out. It didn't. So it's clear that Luigi and now baby Tyler are radicalized dudes in their DNA looking for a reason to kill, and they have found it, which is propaganda from the left-wing media and left-wing social media. So I'm not blaming you guys because we're all on social media doing our thing. That would be hypocritical if I said you should stop talking because you're going to keep talking. What I'm saying is you're saying the wrong shit. And I'm not going to have sympathy. I'm now at a place where I'm going to be ruthless. And I'm not going to cut my friends off. I love my friends. If they want to dance in the streets for death, I'm going to say, a little uncomfortable with you dancing about death. Let's work on that, okay? So I'm not going to cut my friends off like you would. See, you cut me. If I was a friend of yours and you were a left-wing crazy that was cool with this, you'd cut me off. You'd stop, you block me, all these things. I wouldn't do that to you. I might unfollow you because I don't need to see it because I keep things positive. But I'm not like that. See, conservatives are not retaliatory, but at this point, we need to be ruthless. So ERIKA said something that was gangster. She's like, you guys are evildoers. Now I'm paraphrasing. You should watch for yourself. Everyone should. You guys don't even have any clue what you've unleashed, man, because we're even going to come at you stronger. We're going to change this country. So baby Tyler could be the catalyst, could be the guy that you don't want to own because you know this L is not coming off. The stink of this is going to be on your party for a long time, 10 years. So don't ask me to have sympathy for this fucker. Hey, Democrats, is crime down? Is it still down? Is crime down? Is it down now? Yeah, shut up about that shit. Sorry, I'm just going to be ruthless. Look, it's my podcast. Be ruthless. So I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna end with this. I'm gonna show you something really powerful. And it's in the title, and I didn't even get to it because I was so busy talking. But I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you this powerful video. And I don't know if you've seen it yet, but it just hit about an hour ago, and it's ERIKA. I'll just let you watch it. Let me back it up. It's amazing.
Oh, I love you. I love you. I love you. I know. I love you. I love you. God bless you.
Wow.
I love you. I love you. I know. I love you.
Nope. Go with God. Have a great night, guys. No sympathy for these devils. Nope.